way, between here when I joined Bethlehem Steel, sales were $3 billion, and when I left here, sales were $5 billion. So in terms of top line, you would say, well, the company's growing. Well, part of that's inflation, and part of that's product mix and so forth. But just on the surface, there were employees who lost their jobs who had no idea. Just, oh, by the way, the stock price was $33 here. It was about $7 here. So if you're just looking at stock price, but there were employees, particularly hourly employees, not stupid people. They just didn't look beyond the surface. So there was a lot of shock in that when that happened. Okay, any questions on that?
So how do you turn back from, sound like the bureaucracy stages would be pretty difficult to turn back from, but the recrimination sounds like it's recoverable, possibly.
Yeah. Well, let me go. Starting with stable, because that's a tipping point. A stable organization is stale. There are people there who've been there a long time, which is not a bad thing, but if they're doing the same thing they've always done, that's a bad thing. So that's a shakeup. That typically can be cured by replacing the top person. If that person is an entrepreneur, it gets pretty sticky because she owns, maybe a lot of the stock or most of the stock. So that could be a company that is stable, but has a lot of good people, good product line, good technology, may be acquired at that time. The marketplace is depressed. If you look at Apple after Steve Jobs left the first time, it was a great company growing like crazy, and I don't remember who came in to run it at the time, but it was kind of becoming stable. Not a lot of new product introduction and so forth. Steve Jobs came back, and he moved it back down here. So I would say Apple right now is probably prime. It's unfortunate that he's leaving again. But so there are ways to turn that around. Aristocracy, that's pretty much either through acquisition or a rare shareholder revolt, replacing some of the key people at the top, because that's where the aristocracy is, and it filters down in the organization. The recrimination stage, it really gets hard. Again, if the company has some solid assets, it can be bought and turned around, but that's getting pretty late. Bureaucracy, typically in Chapter 11, heading for Chapter 7, so that's now you're in asset sale territory. So the value, as was illustrated here by Bethlehem Steel, you watch stock value over time. That's a good leading indicator as to where the company is on the life cycle chart. Quickly, some cultural differences. These are symptoms or signs of a growing company versus an aging company. So a growing company, everything is permitted unless specifically forbidden. Aging company, everything is forbidden unless specifically permitted. And that's what I was seeing at Bethlehem Steel. Growing company, people ask for forgiveness. Aging company, people seek permission. Growing company, what is more important than how? Aging company, how is more important than what? In a growing company, the political power rests in sales and marketing. In an aging company, the political power is in accounting, finance, and legal. And I might add human resources. Growing company is cash poor, interestingly. An aging company is cash rich. So an aging company down here is typically not investing, not hiring. It's trying to preserve or conserve. You know what a conservative is? What's a conservative? Anybody out there awake? I don't mean political conservative. Maybe that's what comes to mind. A conservative is someone who has something to conserve. So, why are a lot of business people conservatives? Because they've accumulated wealth, they've built an organization, they have property, or they have great employees, they have something to conserve, and so they tend to be conservative. So a lot of conservatism along here, and a lot of non-conservatism along here. And I don't necessarily mean politically. So those are some. In a growing organization, the people on the line call the shots. In a dying organization or aging organization, the staff people call the shots. In growing organizations, expectations exceed results, high expectations. In an aging organization, results exceed expectations, very low expectations. Okay. sense, or does it make any sense, Mark?
Typically, in a cycle, it would be circular in nature versus a wave. So does this mean that every corporation will progress through this wave of death, for lack of a better term? I mean, if you call it a life cycle, typically you would think it would, I mean, in nature, life cycles regenerate. And here you're talking more of a wave. You have a beginning and a defined end, not necessarily defined by time.
Well, the theory is that every organism will die, or every organization will die. So I don't know offhand of any organizations that have lived for all of history. Maybe we could come up with one, but I don't know. But having said that, and really to your point, it is possible that at any of these stages, the organization can begin to die. And then something will happen. It can be an infusion of capital, it can be an infusion of new ideas, it can be an acquisition, it could be a merger, it could be a variety of things. It could be a new technology. And then, if this is time, then get back on the curve. And in fact, what happens in really successful companies, Prime is not really static. There's a series of getting to prime, starting to roll over, and then make a very deliberate change, re-engineer themselves, and go back up, and then after time go back up. So it's a series of curves which when added together is the overall sine curve. Does that make sense? So that's one of the reasons this theory or this principle is so important, and that's to recognize where you are in your organization. Even when you're down here in infancy and you've got this great idea and you want to move forward, it's not too early to start thinking about organization life cycle and what some of the pitfalls are.